welcome to tonight's episode of the LGBTQ Voice. My name is Tracy Welch, and we'll be discussing separation in our LGBTQ community, and we're going to be diving into why are we not connected. So before I introduce our guests tonight, I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about the network. So behind the scenes, our organization has been working on a community needs assessment. So when everybody in our community says, what's going on, what can I do? Oh, I didn't know that was going on. Some of these questions on the community needs assessment will help us figure out what the needs really are for our community. You can find that on the South Coast LGBTQ Network Facebook page or on our email address. So it's sclgbtqnetwork.org. And some of the questions, I'm just going to read them, guys. So how do you identify, your gender identity? How do you identify your sexuality? Please select if you identify as a member of the LGBTQ, a closeted member of the LGBTQ community, a family member of an LGBTQ person in our community, your age. There's different age groups that you can click on. How do you racially or ethnically identify? What city do you live in? We have 11 cities that are listed right now, and then there's a line for other. Your income, your relationship status. Do you have children? Are your children LGBTQ? Have you experienced any of the following in the past 24 months? Behind your rent or mortgage, spent more than a third of your income on housing? Were you homeless? Have you been evicted? And there's a lot more questions that go along with that. Describe your housing issues. If available, would you be interested in being more active in the LGBTQ community for events? What time would you most often be available to attend, support groups, or other services? And then you kind of select which applies to you. What sources do you use to gain information on local events, on news in our community? Do you go to the library? That was one of the things. Do you find it from Facebook, Twitter? Again, do you find flyers at your local library? Do you find it at your local pub? Do you prefer attending events with or without alcohol, with or without your children? What services and resources would you like to have access to? What type of support groups would you be interested in? Do you feel that New Bedford and the South Coast recognize LGBTQ inclusive? And you can answer why. What LGBTQ events would you like to see? Let's see. How do you cope with stress? Do you feel safe being out as LGBTQ in your community? And you can explain why. Of the following, with which do you feel support from your police department, your fire department, EMTs? If you had an emergency situation, do you feel comfortable? And then you can answer and explain why. Have you experienced any of the following? Domestic violence, homelessness, bullying. And next week's show is actually substance abuse. So we've already done on our show domestic violence, homelessness, and bullying. Some of the questionnaires that we've already got answers to, we've been able to do shows on. So have you tried to access help or support, medical support? And do you feel your treatment was affected by yourself being LGBTQ? We've talked about, there's medical questions on there. There's questions about elderly housing. So again, before you guys say in our community, there's nothing to do, I didn't know about it, answer the community needs assessment. Go on the South Coast LGBT Network's Facebook page, go on our web page. On there you can find information about volunteering, the community needs assessment. It just says take survey. You click on the take survey and all the questions kind of come up and you kind of answer as you go. So again, the community needs assessment has been out there for a while. We just did the health fair in March, so it's definitely done before that. And each year we're going to take and do the community needs assessment because needs are going to change. Right now we basically have the same needs in our community, but we don't know what they all are. I know what they are, being my age, being white, and being gay, or being a lesbian if you guys want to be that specific. But we need to hear from our youth, our mature audience, and every age bracket, ethnicity, your housing situations, abusive situations, how to get you the medical help you need. It's not tonight's show. Yes, it's on separation in our community. But I think sometimes we do it to ourselves, oh, I didn't know, I wish I had known, how come no one told me? Well, we're telling you. Watch the show every week. If you want to support the show, You can email leo@newbedfordguide.com, and he'll tell you guys how to be sponsors for the show, to keep the show going. And again, we share it on the network's page. We actually have our own shows page, the LGBTQ Voice. There's a Mass Rhode Island page. There's so many pages that we share this information on. So we'll kind of go back to our guest right now, and I'll tell you a little bit more what the network's been doing this past year. But I just wanted to introduce you guys to Susan Thompson. I'm going to say Mac's name wrong because I did it last time too. Mac Cavallo.
Yes, you did it. Yay!
Hey, I asked if it was right. Hi, Josh. Thank you. I guess I wasn't loud enough, but I usually am. And we actually have Brian Clackmore. So Brian just moved here, what, 4 months or so ago?
Actually, it was a year ago in January, so a little over a year.
A little over a year now. So I kind of took people with different perspective. We're probably about the same age-ish, and being new to the area and where you used to live, what are the differences and things that you see, and I'll get back to you in a moment. Mac I chose because a younger gentleman in our community.
Hi, everyone.
And more of the healthy version of our community. I'm fat and happy, I'm a little bit older, and you know, Susan being in our community, again, we have a couple of female perspectives, and we have a couple of different male perspectives as well. And Susan actually is an RN?
Yes.
An RN. So that's kind of her background. He actually does the pound and other
fitness formats, yes, from pop Pilates to Piloxing, Zumba, bar, one of my favorites to teach, and many, many more.
Yeah. So just real quick, want to give you a plug. Where can they find you?
They can find me at the Old Colony YMCA's Taunton, Middleborough, and East Bridgewater locations, as well as Titleist and just recently Ocean Spray.
Sweet. So Mac actually was at our health fair and did a pound demonstration, and actually Mac was actually at our New Bedford Pride that we just had June 2nd.
It was hot.
Yeah, it was hot. But yeah, so kind of going to go around the room and get different perspective of, you know, what you guys see in our community or what you don't see in our community, and maybe, you know, what we can do to kind of to make it better. So for our Facebook viewers, if you have suggestions, just send me a thing. I'm reading stuff right now. Melissa Costa is watching. Hi, Melissa. I can kind of see what's going on. Mariah, that's usually my sidekick that usually lets me know what's going on, is under the weather today. So I'm going to kind of be peeking and seeing what's going on. If you have a suggestion about our community, how people can get more involved, just hit it up. If I can't answer it today, I'll get back to you guys. If you don't want to have your name showed on here, shoot me an email. So I'm Tracy with an I, TRACI at SCLGBTQnetwork.org. All right, so kind of going around the room. So Brian, being new to the area, I know we met and talked at La Place the other night. We hadn't met. We talked on the phone. Jeff Costa, shout out to you. Jeff said, Tracy, you got to meet Brian. Brian, you got to meet Tracy. We talked for a little bit on the phone. Happened to be an event at the bar Saturday night for a friend of ours in the community that passed away in a fundraiser, and you work for Seven Hills Behavioral Health, and they were there for Seven Hills Twist, talking about HIV, AIDS prevention, and they had the testing van out there. So we were actually kibitzing about the community. So what's up?
Yeah, my perspective is probably a little bit different from most people's because I'm not coming back here. I'm moving here for the first time. My husband and I visited New Bedford from Dallas in 2013 and walked the entire city the first week in October, and well, basically everything from 195 South, and fell in love and decided, hey, this is where we're going to go. Moving here has been a little bit different. We've seen some things that are very different coming from a big city. You know, Dallas, the DFW metro is about the same size as Massachusetts geographically and about the same population. So New Bedford is half the size of our old neighborhood. So it's a little bit different. It's nice, it's a small town, we can relax in some ways. But I think the thing that we have noticed the most that we don't see is a safe space. Dallas has Oak Lawn, you know, Cedar Springs Boulevard, where all the bars are, and it's where the community center is, and you know, the Cathedral of Hope, which is the largest gay church in the country, and you know, you have a lot of just different things to meet people on different levels and kind of minister to different needs, and we don't really see that here. Part of it is just because New Bedford's a smaller community, and part of it is because I think people just don't know it's possible. So, I don't know.
So what do you mean by a safe space to you?
Real estate agents, that was the first thing we noticed. A bar that has a good community connection. Hospitals and doctors and healthcare that is connected to the community. People, members of the community, not afraid to actively participate in the community. Doctors and nurses and real estate agents and attorneys that march in the Pride Parade. You know, the mayor is in the Pride Parade.
Yep.
The sheriff is in the Pride Parade. The sheriff is an out proud lesbian who's running for the governor of Texas, a red state.
Yep.
So it was a little bit different coming here because even with the real estate agents, I encountered real estate agents that said, oh, you know, you don't want to live there, or you don't want to, you know, that's not there. And that's not just a state crime, that's a federal crime.
Yep.
So if you have people discriminating against people who are, you know, moving in and have jobs and homes and things like that, what's happening to the people at the bottom of the food chain that need assistance on multiple levels? What needs are they not having met, and how are they being discriminated against in ways that maybe they don't even know, or we don't even know because we can't see them because it's all buried so deep in the system? So
the network actually has subcommittees, and one of ours is advocacy. I'm going to probably change my name because I had my list separate earlier today. We have advocacy and social justice, as well as our special events and development and fundraising. So behind the scenes, we've actually had like 6 people that meet regularly talking about how we can do that and change that. And Christina De Fonseca actually works for the housing authorities. I'm going to say what your title is. Sorry, Christina, I'm saying it wrong. And actually last month, Marcy Pina Christian from the Human Relations Commission actually went to our youth center, had a 38-year-old individual transitioning male to female, had no place to live. She just said, you know, he just took took the food right out of the trash and was eating it. I said, okay. So I pulled my street sheet out and I write down, a street sheet tells you where you can go for needs assessments, where free food might be for the week. So I was writing down some stuff for them to give to that person. But there is that piece that we are working behind. That's one of the things I wanted to kind of do the show, and I'll probably keep saying what the network continues to do that people don't know. So behind the scenes, we're working to try and make it better. We've had our health fair last March. But again, you know, meeting you don't know, like doing the show, hey guys, people don't know what's going on in our community. And you know, again, if you guys see this show tonight, and we have 3,000 to 5,000 people who see this show a week, share it on your page. Tag a few of your friends. Let people know that the show's going on, so more people can know that, yes, the community, first start at figuring out what people's needs are, and to stop the separation or feeling not included or inclusive is the needs assessment. I'm sorry, go ahead. Psych.
Oh, I was agreeing with you, and I'm glad to hear these things exist because we moved here and had no clue. Yeah. My husband and I are not avid Facebook users. I don't even have an account. Yeah. So.
I know, I Googled you. I tried to find you. I was like, before I call this dude, I know I got recommended. I want to know more about him.
I'm virtually non-existent. Yeah. But it's good to know that you're doing those things, and the people I know that are moving here, and there are lots of people that are moving to New Bedford from other places, especially when the train comes. And yes, it's coming.
What's coming?
The train.
The train, yes,
so when
eventually.
The train gets there, we'll have a whole lot of other people, and we need to prepare for that. I know everybody says, oh, no, it's not coming, but I'm going to think positive.
I would love for us to have our own little gay mecca. You know, I mean, I love Providence. You know, they have streets, everybody that lives on certain streets are all gay. You know, there's a bar at every corner, or a bar nearby, and they all work together, all the drag queens. Shout out to the Imperial Court of Rhode Island, shout out to the Stable, shout out to the Dock Lady, shout out, which ones am I missing? God help me.
The Eagle.
The Eagle. I have been to the Eagle, and yes, this gal here is actually a judge, and flag fits like a glove, August 4th. I will be a judge at the Providence Eagle. I will not be looking at the TV screens.
There's Ego, there's Maribor.
Yeah, you know, I mean, Maribor I've never been to, but my son has been to the Maribor. But Sangria Sunday at the Stable on a Sunday afternoon. You go out there and you chill out. I know Nicole has been on our show, Nicole Lopes, and she DJs a lot of our events. July 21st, I think, at the stable. Again, Stacy is going to be the guest the guest bartender with Nicole DJing. There's just something happening. You know, there's always, and then Monday nights in Providence, there's a game night at one of the bars. So they have all video games. I know us older folks, when we were younger, we used to always play those arcade games. They're there. You can get some beer, a couple of drinks, there's a drag show, and, you know, play some video games. I have supported them in that endeavor. So I'm going to just change it over to Mac. So what are the things that you've seen, and like where have you lived around? I know it wasn't just here, right?
No, I've always lived in New Bedford.
New Bedford?
I think for me personally, just being younger and just very new to very much LGBTQ rights. I mean, I came out when I was 16 years old, and I have always known that I was always different than other people. I've always loved girl, quote unquote, girl things. Like I always loved playing with Barbie. I always loved the color pink. Cinderella was my favorite fairy tale, and I always used to pretend my grandmother had a bathrobe that was literally the same color as her Cinderella's dress, and I used to like run down and just like feel so excited and happy, but I never knew what it was or why I felt very different than most other guys. And I feel still to this day in this community in general is that we tend to have in this community, like I said all the time, that we want to be known for like self-love, we want to be accepted, we want to be free from all labels across the board and everything. And I'm sorry to tell you, but the LGBTQ community, I think labels each other worse than any other community that I've ever experienced. I mean, for gay men, what is there? There's a twink, there's an otter, there's a bear, there's a daddy. We're like a zoo.
Right.
If you think about it, we're like a zoo.
A gay zoo.
The gay zoo, yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, for lesbians, there's what? The butch, the dyke, the lipstick. Any others that I'm missing? Or is that it? The trifecta?
Yeah, that's right. Sure, I almost, I can't swear. I was going to say try.
That's awesome. But I feel as though, especially my generation, is that I feel as though in this area, we have to fit in a specific box. I've always been somebody who's out of the box. I've always identified with people, for example, like Elle Woods or Fran Drescher, where they're very out of the box characters, they're very loony, they're very zany, they are very different, and they want to make a difference in their community, but in their own special, unique way, because they don't want to follow whatever the norm is. And I think in this area, I'm speaking towards gay men here, that we like to fit ourselves in a norm. That if we're not masculine enough, you're not worthy to be part of the LGBTQ. I mean, what is there now? I say all the time, it's the LGBTQ
Plus
A,
yeah.
B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, elemental people.
Yeah.
I don't know, how many letters is there now?
You know, we talked about this offline. We kind of meet in a little green room, we call it. And, you know, we talked about that, you know, back when I came out as, you know, we were gay, I was gay. And as an adult advisor with our kids, we go around and I say, hi, my name is Tracy, I'm an adult advisor, I am gay. When the other kids will come around, they may say they're lesbian, they may say they're pansexual, however they identify. But I still say I'm gay. I just, you know, we've broken it down because now there's lesbian, and again, how everybody identifies, they identify, but we've separated ourselves. Because now you kind of go around, there used to be gay pride. And now it could be, now there's different groups that are in the prides. It's, I'm Asian gay, or I'm black gay, I'm white gay. Oh wait, I'm a twink gay, I'm an older gay, I'm a this gay, I'm a that gay. When it all comes down to it, we started off as, you know, one group, and now we've labeled ourselves and we've separated our own selves.
And from some groups who want to say, like, I want to be free from all labels, aren't you just contradicting yourself?
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, anyway.
So how do you think we get back to, you know, being just one? I mean, the police chief says it very well. City of one. I love when he says that over and over and over again. With the city
I
of
always
one.
just say, why can't we just be humans
Yeah.
who love other humans?
Yeah.
That's my perspective on it. It doesn't matter if you're straight, if you're gay, if you're a lesbian, if you're bisexual, if you're trans. No matter what it is, we're all human and we all deserve love and happiness. No matter who it's with, whether it's a person, an animal, hell, you could be in love with an inanimate object for all I care. If you are happy with yourself and you're living a positive, healthy lifestyle and you're loving yourself for who you are, then that's all that matters.
I'm gonna head over to Susan. Hey, Annie.
Well, hi. I think there's several reasons why we segregate ourselves into the subgroups under the LGBTQ community. I think there's many reasons for that, but I think a big reason is because of our comfort zone. Lesbians feel comfortable with lesbians. You know, trans feel comfortable with trans because we all have different issues that you know, we identify in that group. But I think it's great on a certain level. It gives us a strong sense of community and identity, but it's also a big hindrance because it keeps us from, on many levels, keeps us from stepping forward and just becoming just people, just human beings. We all strive towards that. We try to. We want it to not matter anymore. But it's really difficult at the same time to let go of that sense of community. I know outside the LGBTQ, more like as far as society in general, I went to Paris several years back and I went to the gay section, Marais, and I remember the first couple of nights walking around looking for gay clubs and I couldn't find any. So I started asking people, where are the gay clubs? And they said, there aren't any. It doesn't matter anymore. And I felt a sense of loss of community. At the same time, I felt a sense of pride that they actually made it to that point in that section, which is what we all want.
Right.
So, right. So I think that if we can try and get ourselves outside the box, as you were saying, Mac, and maybe through education and more exposure and letting go of that sense of community, then we may be able to work together and make this community stronger and better, safe place, or, you know.
On a side note too, what I've noticed also especially is that there is an abundance, whether it's New Bedford, P-Town, Providence, Boston, wherever it may be. I noticed that there's a huge section for gay men to hang out and feel accepted, but I feel as though that the lesbian community, unless you can tell me a little bit more.
I'd love to.
I feel as though there's not as much, or is not as much prevalence.
There is during events, but you're right, I think there's a lot more gay clubs for men.
Is it like the hair club for men? Well, unfortunately for us, the Village in Providence closed, and that was our only women's bar. The place has been both a women's and a men's bar. But right now, monthly on Facebook, it's a private thing, but anybody can be added to it. There's a queer women's collective of Rhode Island, and once a month at a bar, a bunch of women are going to get together and kind of hang out. Mm-hmm. And there used to be, what's it, Paula? What's her name? Lesbian Nightlife does something. But then who was the other one that Nicole used to DJ for? Oh my
Stacey?
God. No, we talked about Stacey earlier. There used to be bars in Providence, and that used to be a lesbian thing.
Oh, I know.
Girl Splash.
Yes, Girl Splash.
Girl Splash. So there's no more Girl Splash. There's no more Village. There's not much.
But even those are more events.
Yeah, more event focused.
You know.
But yet they were packed.
Oh, they were.
Yeah, right. I mean on the weekends for the most part. I mean Nicole used to DJ there. They had 3 different DJ. They had a lounge area. They had a DJ in one room, a DJ in the second room, and then outside they actually had garage doors that you could open up, and they had outside bars and stuff.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, but there's nothing for us women. I'll go anywhere. Like I said, I've been to the Eagle like this, but I've been to the Eagle.
Have you been?
Oh, yeah.
He's like, hell yeah.
He's like, hell yeah.
I've been.
Yeah. The only reason, again, we talk about the Providence Eagle, Mikey Eagle has been so supportive in the community, doing so much up that way. Flag, which is fits like a glove, it's a leather group, fetish group, and their beneficiaries have given back to NB Agley, which is our youth group, and they've donated over $6,000 so far in the last few years. So you want me to be a judge there? I will be a judge at the Providence Eagle. But yeah, I mean, every year they support us in our community, and they're from Providence. You know, so we got to pay it forward and give it back. So offline, we were kind of talking about folks that when you see, like again, Mac, anything that someone's doing on Facebook, just share it. Jeff Costa, I love you, and maybe one day I'll do yoga and fitness with you, but today's not the day and tomorrow's not looking any better. But I share your stuff. How do people know? You're friends of friends of friends. You share something on your page, somebody tags something. I have the luxury to oversee a lot of pages, so you might see the same post over and over and over again, like, oh my God, there's Tracy. But some people don't see all the pages that I do post on. They may only be on that one page. So I see tags. Somebody talked about the Whaling City Festival coming up. The police department put that on. I posted it on the network page. I posted on the LGBTQ Voice page, and people hit it and tagged a friend, and tagged a friend, and tagged a friend, because the calendar's on there. So that's how people are finding out what's going on. Facebook is key. I do have a Twitter account, on it. I think I have a not Snapchat, what's the other one? Instagram, I started it, I ain't going on it. My life is full enough with doing the show, doing the network, doing the youth group, doing my job, and doing Facebook. I can't do the other things. But if you guys hit us up and say, you know what, where would you like to see information put? Offline, Kevin and I were talking about. Kevin, one of our youth, is on our side piece over here. He's a production assistant. Bringing things to the public library. I went to the Wareham Library today for my position that I have during the day with one of my individuals, and I was like, wow, there is a huge bulletin board there. And today, even though it's summertime, there was a few dozen people there and kids running around. So that is a good spot to kind of put things. And then one of my research doing it this week, talking about separation. London had their Pride this weekend, and the women lesbian group ended up was marching in the front of the line, laid down and stopped the parade from starting, and they couldn't arrest them because I guess they said they weren't really breaking any laws. And then they had signs up and talking about lesbians against trans people, that lesbian rights are under attack by the trans movement. So this group is saying, they're called TERFs, T-E-R-F-S, T-E-R-F''S, I don't remember what it exactly stands for, that a male to female can't identify as a lesbian. And I'm like, oh my God, really? People, here we go again. Whoop, whoop. I'm like, oh my God, let people be who they feel they need to be. My biggest thing is, the restroom. I don't care. My biggest thing is just put the damn toilet seat down when you're done. For me, we all feel differently. I went to the bathroom the other day, and a gentleman was in there with a daughter came out, and he said to the daughter, oh honey, I know you're all set. We're all set to go now. Well, I know he needed to use the restroom because the toilet seat was up. He just used his daughter as the excuse because the vendor was busy. I'm okay with that. There's just certain things that, as we get going, we're going to be talking on our, hey, Maureen says, go Kevin. Yay. He's like, power to the people over there in the corner, Maureen. We're going to be talking about the trans bill coming up. I actually invited Freedom of Massachusetts. I invited, there's a trans group in Massachusetts as well to be on that trans show. We're going to have a couple of trans individuals just talking about the trans bill. And I apologize, I don't know the date of that, but that's coming up before the end of the, before I think the second week of the 9th month. I have programming up until then just about. But we're going to be talking about the trans rights. We're going to be talking about what's going on in our politics. We're going to have some people coming on talking about the November's election and the 9th and going into the 10th month, because before you know it, probably almost the whole 9th month, we'll try and have some politician stuff here. But let's get back to this show. I kind of, we talked about events at our Bala place. I kind of said, where are all the gay people? I say it over and over again on the show, if you watch it, that Connie, one of our mature audience, says, there's over, 90-something thousand people in New Bedford. If 1 in 10 are gay, where are the 9,000 people hiding? Where are they?
I think mostly they're going to, especially for my age group, I think they're either going to Providence or I think they're going to Boston and the bigger cities. Yeah. Because I feel as though with that location of where the place is, I feel it isn't the most appropriate, if I want to say, like the best location for it, even though it is right off the highway, even though it's can be seen when you're driving by. I feel as though in places like downtown New Bedford, where it is more of a gay culture for New Bedford to be in downtown, I feel if they were down here with competing with the other local bars in the area, I think it would have a much more prevalence.
So before this skips away, Jeff Rivard, I apologize if I said your name wrong. Thank you for letting me know. I did mention this on our last show. That St. Peter's Episcopal Church is at 351 Elm Street in South Dartmouth. That's having an LGBTQ cookout on July 24th at 6:30. All are welcome.
Oh, awesome.
Okay, and I did post that on some of our pages and whatnot. And Kelly Amaral says, "Hi, Kevin." Hi. Kevin's getting hit up. Whoop,
Kevin's
whoop.
popular.
Kevin's the
He
man.
is popular.
Kevin's-
It must be the hair.
Yeah, he's doing. Yeah,
He has
nobody-
awesome hair.
Nobody
Yeah,
sees
it
him.
is.
He's behind the scenes kind of guy. I used to be until I kind of got put out into the forefront here,
Like me.
like you.
Not forefront,
Yeah,
but-
thanks for shopping. Yeah, she's my best friend, by the way. I got to be on the show. I just wanted, women's perspective, a youth perspective. My son is gay, and I know where he goes. Providence, every time. Where you go, Providence? You
Well, I
know.
just don't think there's enough here. There's a lack of
Yeah.
places to go.
Good.
Yeah, and it's
Lack
funny
of choices.
because my husband and I are one of 3 or 4 gay couples on my street.
On your street.
On my street, yeah, on my
So I think
street.
you should open a bar.
You
So-
should. Go down to the bank, get an investment on that.
Yeah.
So,
And Bob Young just said, we are lucky to have the place, and I totally agree.
Yeah.
We just,
yeah.
last summer, just celebrated the 35th anniversary at the bar. We were talking to Brian about it the other night. Helped promote it, helped get things ready. They had a barbecue outside, free of charge for the people letting them know what's going on, and the old timers had come out. You know, by old timers, I mean, I'm 54, they were even older than me. So old timers, they were in their 70s, they were coming out, because they were, again, 35 years ago, what age were they? And the place has been our statue in our bar, I mean, in our community for different events. And we talked about, Brian didn't know about the puzzles incident. And I explained to him last night, we had talked offline on the phone about what happened in our community with puzzles. So, yes, Bob, we are very lucky to have the place in our community. Because the place goes, there is no gay bar. There
Especially
is
between
nothing.
like Providence and P-Town, we're pretty much stacked in the middle.
Yeah, and then there's Bobby's, but we talked offline, that I choose not to go to Bobby's, because what happened to our Zoe. Zoe went in to use the ladies' room, and they said that she couldn't use it. And she said, I identify as female, and the security and whatnot escorted her out.
bless their hearts.
Yeah, so, and they used to be a gay bar, and now it's the mix of whatever. That's my opinion. You can go to Bobby's every day, you can have fun at Bobby's, but I'm just like, you know what? She is a friend of mine. And I just don't think that it was appropriate the way that it was handled. So, same thing we talked about offline, when we went to dinner, and we went to Lindsay's for dinner, and the lady thought I was the man in the ladies' room.
Excuse me, ma'am.
She grabbed me from behind, and I'm
excuse me.
like, what
Excuse
the
me,
hell,
miss.
this old lady? And I'm like, she thought I was a man walking into,
Why can't people just pee where they want to pee? I just don't understand what is such a big deal. I mean, you go into a bar late
Yeah.
at night, and most of the times the women's room is crowded, and
Yeah.
most of my friends especially will go into the men's room to pee if they have to pee. Like, it's not, and people don't question that.
Yeah, I think that, I'm parental. For me, I would have a hard time sending my young daughter into the ladies' room and watching a man following. With what's going on or what has been in our past, I'd be afraid for my daughter. Or same thing, setting a
Which
little,
is totally understandable.
So there's just certain things and certain levels. You don't say, hey, at 9 o'clock at night, men can use the ladies' room and ladies can use the men's room. But there's some scaredy.
Yeah, I think it's different in a nightclub.
Yeah.
For
Oh, I
sure.
agree. I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a parent too, and
No.
I
Hi, Tom.
I understand that. I mean, it has nothing to do with
Yeah.
anybody LGBTQ, but I don't know, I wouldn't feel comfortable in that situation.
And in the South, it's not as, even people in the LGBTQ community aren't as open-minded as we are.
Yeah.
They are very conservative, and there are people who believe, you have your title, you have your role, and you need to stick with it.
Yeah.
So, and even in a city as big as Dallas, you still had lots of people that believed that if you looked and acted a certain way, and if your skin was a certain color, even if you were part of the LGBTQ community, you still had to play your part.
Yeah.
You didn't go in the ladies' room if you were a man, and if you were a woman, you didn't,
Yeah.
vice versa.
Well, I can't tell you how many times we do go to bars, and there's nobody in the men's room, and they're all in the ladies'
Well,
room.
I
Right.
use the men's room.
Oh, look
If I
what
have to pee,
happened
I'm
when,
gonna pee.
at the Village. The Village had both. They didn't care which one you used.
Well, that's what it should
As long
be.
as you're not on the floor.
So I think
Yeah.
the
That's what I
On the
say.
floor.
Would you rather me pee on the floor?
Right.
Well, I think the difference in places like that is it's an individual bathroom
Yeah.
or a full stall
Correct,
sealant.
it's a onesie,
So it's safer.
yeah.
I can understand that. It
Yeah.
should be anybody. If it's a separate bathroom,
Yeah.
then it should be anybody. But, you know, but with small children, you know, I wouldn't want my granddaughter going
Hi,
into,
Emma.
you know, being followed into the bathroom by a man. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, I
Keep it on,
agree.
you
I mean,
know.
I'm parental, I'm like, yeah, watch out. I'm like, I'll come for you. You know, we talk about our community, you know, and when we have events at La Place or wherever we happen to have it, we had the National Coming Out Day, October 11th, at the Irish Slante Pub downtown, and I say Slante wrong every time, sorry guys. We only had like maybe a dozen plus people show up. We advertised it, we told everybody about it, and our community did not come out. I'm like, oh my God, it's National Coming Out Day, hello.
They're already out. Do they know,
Yep,
do they want to be supportive?
yep, they didn't, they did not. We've done a lot as a network, so I'll kind of let you guys know what the network's been doing this past 3.5 years or so. We got our 501c3 status this year. I'm so excited to say that. Eileen Dugas, shout out to Eileen. In mid-December, we hired Eileen as our network coordinator. Our former coordinator, Joe DeFonseca, related to Christina DeFonseca that we talked about earlier, brother and sister, he had to step down to an increased workload of his day job, but he continues to do he's our webmaster. So he didn't step off, he just does our website, which is terrific. We had Pride this year. It's our second in the park for the network. It's technically our third Pride. We had it at the bar the third year ago, 3 years ago? 3 years ago. Pride Cafe, I want to talk about that a little bit. So we talk about what people can do in the community away from the bar scene in an effort to increase participation and social opportunities for LGBTQ individuals 18 plus. The Pride Cafe was moved from the Unitarian Church to 484 Pleasant Street, home of A Perfect Place Youth Center. It is now open every Monday night rather than just twice a month. And that's every Monday from 7 to 9. It's acceptance, it's support, it's friendships, community, advice, and openness. I've been a few more times this time, since it's now at our youth center. I used to be part of South Coast Equality that did it, so every first and third Monday of the month, I used to be at the UU Church. But it's just nice, because even when I was doing it, I'm like, oh, did we meet next Monday, or was it last Monday did we meet? And if I forgot, how many people in our community forgot? So we're like, well, why don't you guys come to the youth center? We had to ask our kids for 3 years in a row. We pay $1,000 a month to be open 2 hours a week. What do you think? And the kids vote on everything. Finally, the kids said, yeah. Well, then we said, okay, well, what about this and what about that? So let's talk about A Perfect Place Community Center. Our priority for this year was not only increasing youth programming at A Perfect Place, but welcoming other programs from the community to increase the general use of this facility. In the past, the building was used only one night a week, which I just said. And like I said, there is now a full schedule of programmings that include Pride Cafe every Monday. We have an LGBTQ youth and parent group. So I'm going to go to my last page, because I actually have this booklet. It's amazing. I know you're excited for me. So the LGBTQ youth and parent group is every Wednesday from 6:30 to 7:30. So we actually have our webpage, our website, and our Facebook page. We got emails, and I got private messages on Facebook, that there's 7- and 8-year-old kids transitioning, male to female, female to male, and we don't know what to do. The parents are like, what do I do? I'm shocked, I don't know what to do. So we started the group. Eileen's doing it. Eileen runs it every Wednesday. So when you guys don't see Eileen here, she's behind the scenes doing so much for us. So this is an opportunity for both LGBTQ children and their parents to socialize in a safe, as that word, welcoming environment. Parents will also have access to resources. For more information, you can email Eileen at sclgbtqnetwork.org. We started Sober and Out. So Sundays between 9 and 10 a.m. It's LGBTQ AA. It is a closed meeting. Any straight people, if you want to call it that, can go. You just have to be AA. So I can't go as a support. If Susan was an alcoholic, she's not. But if she was, I couldn't go to support her. It's actually a closed AA group. We also started yoga by Project Wheelhouse. So every Monday from 5:30 to 6:30, 484 Pleasant Street, New Bedford. Ages 14 and up. It's a drop in and enjoy. And then Pride Cafe precedes that from 7 to 9 on Monday nights. And again, it's an 18-plus group for Pride Cafe, because we don't want to have to worry about 17 and 16-year-olds in an adult setting. And then we actually have our youth group, NB Agley. So every Thursday night from 5 to 7 for LGBTQ youth, ages 14 to 24. We are youth-driven. When I say we, because I'm one of the adult advisors. Eileen Dugas is adult advisor. David Finn Clark is adult advisor. And John Masson is an adult advisor. And we just marched in the Cape Verdean Parade Sunday. Shout out to us. But the program provides education, support, and leadership development. The goal is to support youth to recognize and demonstrate their own personal power and to reduce HIV infections. For more information, you can call us 774-371-0711. But again, we actually, only when it's school year, we actually do homework help. That's Wednesday afternoon from 4:30 to 5:45. And First Fridays, what's First Fridays, Kevin?
Game night.
Game night. It's a game night, it's a hangout night, it's a movie night, it's without adult support. Even though Kevin is over 18, it's without adult advisors.
Are you playing Fortnite?
No, just Smash Brothers, Mario Kart. I bring the Wii.
Oh, you bring the Wii?
They bring the Wii. Whatever they want to do. Whatever they want to
Well, I
do.
know Fortnite's a big thing now. So I didn't know.
What is it?
I have no idea, to be completely honest. I just see it everywhere.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. I just saw your 7-Eleven quote, LOL, LOL. I used to work for 7-Eleven, so when I said that, he's making a joke. And don't forget, so should I plug you guys for tomorrow? All right, tomorrow's 7-Eleven day. So all my friends that still work at 7-Eleven, I love you to death. So you get free Slurpees. Yeah, you get and then some of the 7-Elevens around will give you free hot dogs or whatever they have.
Which 7-Eleven?
All have free Slurpees. All. Yeah, 7-Eleven day. So there you go, Ryan. I gave you a shout out to 7-Eleven and all my 7-Eleven friends. I'm still friends with a lot of you guys. Oh my God. So some of the other stuff that the network's been working on, so people are like, oh, I didn't know. What do you guys do? Why should I pay $10 to come to the bar? What are you giving me for my $10? I am telling you right now what we've given you in the past and what we continue to do for your future. So in 2014, we celebrated a decade of marriage equality. We had a huge fundraiser. We had DJ Nicole was there as our DJ. We, unfortunately, with the Pulse incident, we had a candlelight vigil. WBSM Radio in the mayor's office and everything. We actually did a walk from the church all the way down to our youth center. So, and then we were at the church, and actually 2 years ago was the first time I actually spoke in public. And I read like this. I'm like, oh, I'm done, because nobody else could come from the network. So I'm getting better at it, guys. So again, bear with me. Last year, our youth group, Lisa Lally is watching. Hi, Lisa. Hi, John. There was no violence in our city. It was a citywide collaboration. No violence in our city. Actually, I think it was like a no hate in our city as well. Our network hosted the Death in Life of Martha P. Johnson film with the New Bedford Art Museum and New Bedford National Whaling Historical Park, and we had it for Transgender Remembrance Day. We're working on an LGBTQ resource guide for the South Coast Health. Where can you go if you're trans? What doctors say they're safe and aren't safe? There's going to be all kinds of, again, resource guide. Eileen's working a lot behind the scenes on a lot of stuff. That's why we needed to hire a network coordinator. I do all this part-time. I don't say my ass. I do it all part-time. And in between what I can do, we really needed somebody to take that responsibility and that load off and do more for our community. We actually had a holiday social at New Bedford Art Museum and Artworks. And we had the show. We got hit up by New Bedford Guide from Mike saying, would you guys like to do a show? And I'm like, all right. Who'd have thought that I produce a live weekly show, and Eileen as well now has come on board, and now Eileen and I are hosting the show. I never thought in a million years. But we kind of thought to our community that we need this show. We need people to know what's going on in our community. We need to keep this connectiveness. We did the Winter LGBTQ film series. Co-partners include the Greater New Bedford Community Health Center, New Bedford Art Museum Artworks, New Bedford Historical Society, New Bedford Whaling National Park, Historical Park, Seven Hills Behavioral Health was there, the Women's Center, UMass Dartmouth Center for Women, Gender, and Sexuality, and the YWCA of Southeastern Massachusetts. And we're going to do that again this winter. Yesterday, Joe Quigley, or the day before, hit me up in a private message on Facebook saying, Tracy, this is a great movie to have for the next winter series. And I passed it on to Rebecca McCullough, because she's part of that committee that's doing the winter series. Again, we talked about the community health fair we just had this March, and we're going to have it every year coming up. And it says, Greater New Bedford Youth Alliance, a collaboration of over 20 local agencies and youth programs in Greater New Bedford. Confronting Discrimination Task Force, Fall River United Neighbors Organization. And right now, you all missed it, I'm sorry, we posted on our Facebook page, I bit my tongue, sorry about that. The network actually paid for a bus to go to P-Town for Carnival. We got one bus, it's a $5 to get on, because we want to tip, for people that can give the $5, we want to be able to tip the bus driver. But the network, Pride Cafe, is all paying for that. Done, $5. So they're leaving at 7:30 in the morning, and the bus is full. We're only doing one this year. Maybe in the next couple of years, we'll be able to do more and kind of figure that out. So Ryan Fontaine says, thanks, Tracy. So 7-Eleven's going to be real busy tomorrow. You all owe me. Lisa Lally, one of my besties from Tedeschi World. Tracy, hi, Tracy, you rock. Leisha Sauto, I'm going to say your name wrong. Lashia, hello, Tracy. Hi, guys, how are you? But we do a lot in the community, and we continue to do a lot in our community. Pride this year was great. We had so many volunteers, and to get the elders or our mature audience, I've known Tom now going on 4 years. And I'm stuck in my ways, and I'm old, and I'm mad, I'm this, and I'm that. I love Tom to death. We did our network. We talked about, how do we keep the network going? How do we keep everybody involved? How do we keep the mature audience, the mature elders in our community with our youth? How do we keep it engaged? And this year, 4 people in the elders group volunteered for Pride. And they go, how did you do that? I go, we just talked to each other. I said, Tom, guess what? Your job ain't done. I know you're older and you thought it was. These kids aren't where they need to be. I really, at one point, we talk about getting our groups together. I want to do a mentoring program. And we can talk about that offline, not this group, but a bunch of us, that I want to be able to get some of our youth group to be able to hang out with our mature audience and get to know each other. And kind of, maybe keep some of them company. And keep some of our youth, engaged in what's going on and what has going on. Our kids talk about separation. They don't even know marriage equality. They couldn't get married years ago. When in 2004, add that, how old do you have to be now? God help me. I don't even know. I don't add. Sorry, I still use my fingers, guys. So some of our kids didn't even know. We talk about marriage equality. Like, what do you mean? And I'm like, you couldn't get married until 2004. Like, what do you mean you couldn't get married?
I was 11.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So our youth group, we start at 14. And then the next group coming up, James DeHoot, I don't know, I'm going to say Jesus, but it ain't right, says, God bless you, Jesus loves you all. So thank you for that. So we talk about, separation, and what do you guys think we can do to kind of bring people back together? Any suggestions, any ideas, especially you guys out there too? Put them up here, send me an email, Tracy with an I if you don't want to talk on here, you don't want your name said. Tracy at sclgbtqnetwork.org. If you don't want my face, you can hit Eileen up. She'll answer you too. Eileen at sclgbtqnetwork.org. Or if you see me out and about, just say, hey, Tracy, I got a question for you. I'd be more than glad to. Because offline, I know I just asked you guys a question. I just bought a little video camera, the tripod, and it goes down to here. We're actually going to be doing man on the street interviews. We're going to be heading out in the next few weeks, just stopping people in town. Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? How's it going? And kind of say, you know what, we have a community needs assessment. Do you want to do it, or just tell me how you feel real quick, and we'll just shoot it up and show people what's going on, what people really feel. And I'm okay if you don't like me. I don't care if you say derogatory things to me, but let's talk about it. It's how you say it to people. You don't have to like that I'm gay. You don't have to say, I don't like you, I don't like gay people, I don't like this, I don't like that. Don't call me a faggot. Don't call me a dyke. Don't call me a bitch. Just say, you know what, I don't like you because you're gay. And tell me why you don't like me because I'm gay. What is it that you don't like? Same thing for me, my last job. I was a division manager for Tedeschi Food Shops before 7-Eleven. And I went to this party. We all had a great time. Blast! People were like, hey, what do you do for work? What do you do for work? Next thing you know, I said, I'm a DM. She goes, you're a DM? I'm like, what is that word, DM? And she goes, oh my God, my DM was so bad to me. So now that DM is a bad word? So I think some people think that gay is a bad word. So I apologize. We're going to kind of go back and...
Well, I think also within the LGBT community, there's a lot of misperceptions between the groups, which doesn't help. So I think a lot of... education and exposure as far as that goes too, so that we can work together and get along. Like, for instance, a lot of people perceive bisexuals as they're not really bisexual, they just haven't jumped into full gaydom yet. And just attitudes like that. They're confused or, and I think that's really unhealthy. And I think that's really unhealthy for the community, and that's what things like that keep us separated. So I think I think more events and, like you say, sharing and getting together and getting people to come to these events and just learning more about each other and getting comfortable and changing those misperceptions within our community.
So before I get to you guys, I'll talk a conversation that happened at La Place, and I've gone to La Place since I moved up this way. I went into the bar one day, and some of the older lesbians were sitting at the corner bar, and then new lesbians, as I call it, were playing pool. I'm like, hey, who are they? I'm like, oh, we don't know. I go, did you not say hi? And my friend said.
Tracy does that all the time to everybody. She makes us talk to everybody.
I do, a welcome wagon, hello. And I said, well, why didn't you go say hi? Because nobody made me feel welcome when I first got here. And I was like, break the cycle. Stop it. Stop it. Mm-hmm. So I went over there and I said hi to all these women. I'm like, hey, do you know so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so? Next thing you know, everybody's hanging out, everyone's having a good time, and everyone's playing pool. It just took me, one person. It could take you one person, you one person, you one person. Mac, how did I meet you?
You met me pretty much online, and you've met me through the health fair that I went to.
Ding. And I hit him up. I asked him a
question.
Because
I knew Alicia.
Yes. Alicia Patrick, hello. Alicia Patrick is the one that headed up our health fair. So definitely a shout out to Alicia. But sharing information, get to know people, tagging events. I can't tell you how many events I tag over and over, and I share events because we all have a friend of a friend. And again, like we talked about the Whaling City Festival, I tagged it on our page, and next thing you know, people are tagging that one event. If we can continue to share and do things in our community, one thing, Brian, we talked last night, like, oh my God, you know so much. And I'm like, I do. And even myself, I still feel separated. For the show that we do, I sent out feelers. Like, I sent out private messages to people. Hey, you didn't have to answer me, but you did. You said, oh, yeah, I'll even, oh, by the way, shout out 724, Colton McGrath, the transgender individual that was on American Idol, will be on our youth show. We're going to have a show on teens. He answered me. I'm not sure if I can do this show. Give me some dates and let me know. And I'm like, oh, I moved the show. Can you make this date? Just respond back to me. Say yes or no. So I'll send private messages to people. And on Facebook, on a private message, Brian, you may not because you're not on Facebook. So if I sent you a message and I type it all up, spend all that time, like a typewriter, and all of a sudden you read it, your Facebook picture pops down. So I know you read it. Mm-hmm. So
you busted.
So you busted. An email, if I send you an email, I don't know if you read it or not.
Unless you do return receipt.
Unless I do return receipt, you are correct. But again, for me, I was doing a show, and I hit everybody up, and I said, hey, listen, do you guys know anybody that can do the show? Do you? And she did answer me back, and she said, no, I don't know anybody. I'm like, okay. But I respected the fact that they answered me back. Then, several days later, I go and I'm trying to get more information for the show, and the person said, oh, that's so-and-so's brother you know. I go, what do you mean that's so-and-so's brother? I already hit so-and-so up, and they said they couldn't help me out. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I go back to that person's page, type, ding, like I'm doing my typewriter, ding. I'm like, hi, so-and-so's your brother? Could you possibly send him a message that he could get back to me? Oh, how'd you find out who's my brother? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Really, people? So I'm trying to help the show, work on the show, produce the show. Eileen's producing the show, helping the show, being on the show, and we're doing more in the community. We're both adult advisors. We're doing networking behind the scenes that you guys don't even know about. And I'm like, really? It's your freaking brother that I've been trying to, could have been a guest on the show. So those are the things that, I get annoyed for, and I get it. We only have so much time in a day. So much time in a day that we have. But if you can share somebody's event, answer an email, even if it's not from me, somebody in the community is hitting up for you, there's a reason for it. I'll hit you up a couple times for certain things, and if I see that you're not answering, I'm like, well, I guess I'm not interested. I guess I get annoyed, and I do, because if I could, and again, I could spend time, hi Jeff Coster, I know you're watching, I love you, and I joke with Jeff all the time. People are like, how do you find time to go to the gym? And I said, I say that to a lot of people, and I said, and they find the time because it's important to them.
Absolutely. I
find time for our community because it's important to me. And I sometimes I say, well, why can't other people give? Everybody gives so much in other ways. So how much more can we give to other situations? But I know we're talking about, community involvement and whatnot. I just need to figure out how we can regroup and get everybody back together. We're going to continue. What time is it, Kev?
5 minutes left.
Woo, we got 5 minutes. How can we continue to, be inclusive? Again, there's friends of friends on Facebook. Recently on Facebook, I know, Brian, you don't have it, it introduces you to new people.
My
And it tells you
husband
that you have
does.
50 friends in common, or you have this, and I look at their page and I'm like, oh, they're from Providence, they know so-and-so, so I'll hit them up, friend, I'll hit them up, friend. So now I'm sharing more information of people. I didn't know Mac. I'm like, oh, he's playing here, ding, ding, share that. Oh, Jeff Coster, I love you, and he's still watching. I share over and over again, and I joke with Jeff. Today's not the day I'm gonna be healthy, but I'm healthy in my heart. I'm heart healthy. I'm caring healthy, I'm giving healthy. Do you guys want to end with any comments? You want to say anything else to end us up?
Yeah, I want to say something.
Please.
I think the first step can be on an individual level. I think you take it frequently. I see you reach out, and I met you the first time at Pride.
Yep.
I just realized that. I was watching you, and I'm like, oh, I know that. I know that person.
Yeah, sorry. I was probably running around the chicken with the head cut off.
But I think if we each do our part,
Yeah.
if we each be the best person we can be and reach out to new people and to people we don't know and break that cycle of dysfunction and that cycle of doing the same thing and expecting different results, because we know what that is.
Yeah.
We can change this. We can change anything if we do that. That's how we got this far.
Yeah.
So that's just my 2 cents.
Matt?
I think too, what you mentioned before about having support groups, I've learned so much from older gay men that really have helped me become the person that I am today. And I think today's youth, especially within the social media generation and the millennial generation, I think we get so involved in what's going on in our little bubble that we forget, especially at Pride events, why do we even have Pride to begin with?
Right, but we need people like you because we need your energy and we need your zest for life and all of that social media stuff that you know how to do.
Absolutely. And side note to Tracy's comment before, if anyone ever calls me like a fag or a bitch or something like that, I flip script and I'll say, you want to call me a fag? Cool, call me a fag because I'm fierce, I'm amazing, and I am gay. That's it. That's my definition of what a fag is. And then if somebody ever calls you a bitch, I just quote it from RuPaul. Forgive me if I think it's Latrice Royale who said it once and loud proud before. You are being in total control of her or himself. That is what a bitch is.
Oh, there you go. Susan?
I just think, just leading by example, and I know it's further down the road, but just being a good example for our kids and our community, because I see the future generations have changed significantly. I see it in my son, and then more so in my granddaughter, or even more in my granddaughter. And I know that that's further down the line, but it's coming and it's really important. And like my granddaughter doesn't even think there's any difference whether you're gay or you're not gay, you're lesbian, you're bisexual, you're trans. There's no difference for her. You're just human beings. And so I think that in the long run, that's super important.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'll end with social media. I mean, we talk about our youth group, that you guys don't know, that, our kids think they have friends because they're talking online. And they're not out, they're in their home, they're in, wherever they're assisted living, wherever they happen to be at, that they think that's life. And I think they're missing out of getting out. So that's one of the reasons that we want to do the man on the street interview, kind of get out a little bit more. I have Mondays off, so like I said, I just got my video cam, I got my little tripod that goes here to the floor, I'm all set. Best Buy hit me up, did a really nice job for us. So I'm going to start going on Mondays, and I'll be having Saturdays off in a couple weeks. Just kind of getting out there. I know Life Fundamentals, shout out to you guys. They're out there on the weekends with a little table, just introducing themselves to kids in the area, saying, hey, how's it going? Here's some coloring books. You want some fruit? You want some juice? You want some, some water? We need to get out there, let people know where we're at. We'll have the network flyers, we'll have our youth flyer, we'll have, what's going on in the community. I know I just read off a whole sheet, but letting people know we're out there. We're getting our business cards changed over that with the LGBTQ Voice on the back side and the network, what I do on this side. So when I hand it to people, I'm like, hey, you know what, we have a TV show. I call it a TV show because I can, I guess. And I'm like, what do you mean you have a TV show? Like, yeah, every Tuesday at 7 o'clock, you can see my fat face here on TV talking about what's going on in our community. I think this is a great opportunity for us to have this platform here. The Bedford Guide has over 100,000 followers. If we can capture those, could you imagine if all those 100,000 people gave us $1, what we could do? We have between 3,000 and 5,000 people that watch this show weekly. If everybody gave $1, so we can be able to keep the show going. Again, so you can hit leo@newbedfordguide.com. You can also do donations to leo@newbedfordguide.com and just say, you know what, I don't want to do an ad, but hey, you know what, here's some money for the show. We'd be more than glad to take that, because 50% of the proceeds, once we pay these guys, AJ's behind the scenes and Josh, hey, shout out, woo-hoo. 50% of all those proceeds goes back to all these things that I talked about earlier that we continue to do in the community, that we want to do more. We still want to do NA. Somebody named Leandra Marie Martinez Vidal says hi. Hi, honey. I just want to make sure I give shout outs to everybody today.
Yeah, I think we all need to start supporting and standing up for each other a lot more, and support through the way you're talking and every way.
I think it's awesome what you're doing for the community.
No,
Right.
we appreciate
So just
it.
special shout out to Tracy.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, well, that's it. Eileen will be here next week, because some of you guys know I'm a foster parent, so I got my classes on Tuesday, and it's going to be on substance abuse. So it's going to be a little bit, a little bit harder topic than this week. But each week we hit different topics. So next week is substance abuse, and you'll see Eileen next week. Take care, guys. See you in 2.